day. Hey, everyone. Welcome to 514 Church. You guys can take a seat. I'm going to get my table. Nope. You know what, Will? I got it today, okay? Good morning. Welcome. What a special day. I told my husband a few minutes ago before this started that I think I just need to go cry in a closet and then come out, and I'll be ready to be up here today. But it's a special day. If you're watching online, good morning. We're so glad that you're joining us. House lights up a little bit because I can't see any faces, but right now we're actually going to pass the buckets for giving. And we believe in giving so much because it is a way that we stay faithful to God, and we live out being obedient to Him through giving. And so today is one of those days where it's very clear what you give to. Really, really clear. Today's a special day, and we're going to talk about the next generation, and we get to see kids get baptized, which is just amazing. Yeah. In fact, we have 9 kids. I want you to show this picture. Look at these little goofballs right there. Look at them. 9 kids over 2 services that are going to get baptized. And it's a very, very special day. We're in a series, week 2, called the Gameplan. Did anyone get a Gameplan handout when they walked in? You should have. And the game plan is really cool. The game plan is our church's spiritual plan for kids. So we say around here that from the time a child is born all the way, 18 years later, till the time they graduate, we have a plan to develop their faith. And that's pretty cool. It's amazing. And we really care about this plan. And last week, our lead pastor, Joel Kovacs, he kicked off this series. If you did not hear it, you need to go back and listen to it. And I am our ministries director, and my name is Carmen Smith, for those of you who I haven't had the pleasure to meet. But we care so much about the next generation. And the game plan is so awesome because it is made up of these 2 big parts. And the first one is weekly experiences. And so right now, if you're infant through 5th grade, they are in a weekly experience back there. And our older kids meet on nights, Thursday nights, high school night, and our middle schoolers meet on Sunday nights. And then the other thing that makes up the game plan is called checkpoints, okay? And the amazing thing about the game plan, the idea behind it is then that when the church and the home come together, player 1 and player 2, that we can have a real significant impact in the life of a child and their faith. And so it's all about coming together for the weekly experience, and then also these things we call checkpoints. And checkpoints are these pivotal moments in a child's faith. And so today, a child getting baptized is a checkpoint. It is a pivotal moment. And so we thought, what better way to celebrate than to do baptisms on Sunday morning? And so that's what's going to happen today. And in a little bit, you're going to hear from our K through 5th grade director. His name is Daniel Carr. And Daniel is actually going to share a portion of what he teaches at our baptism class. And so all these kids have gone through a baptism class where they've heard the gospel presented in a kid-friendly way. And they have decided to place their faith in the person of Jesus. In baptism, that it shows that. They want to go public with their faith, and that's what today is all about. And so you're going to hear from Daniel, which will be really fun. You get to understand a snapshot of what that specific moment looks like. And it's really interesting for me today because I've had a privilege, deep privilege and honor to lead the leaders who lead our next generation ministries. And today I get to sit in a different seat a little bit. I get to take off my work hat and put on my parent hat. And if I'm emotional, I'm going to tell you why. And you're going to be like, oh, she can cry all she wants. But today I get to put on a parent hat because my 9-year-old daughter is getting baptized. Yeah, there she is. And it's really cool because I sit with our team for hours. I mean, we took hours and talked about how do we engage kids and how do we spiritually develop them and how do we help parents know how to have tools. And I'm standing up here today telling all of you guys that this really works, And I am deeply, deeply impacted and grateful for the plan that our church has set in place for our kids' faith. And it's really cool because I got to dive into it. I got to go to the class with my daughter, and then we got to go home, and we had really meaningful conversations with her where she, placed her faith in Jesus. And man, I felt as a parent empowered. I felt equipped, everything you would want. And I got to be a part of that decision for her. And it's very, very special today for me to be here. So if I'm emotional, I have the best reason ever, okay? Today, I want to take a minute and share. Maybe you're sitting here and you're like, oh no, I came on the kids' ministry day. You came on the best day ever. You really did, yeah. And so today, I want to share why the game plan actually matters to every single person in this room. Whether you are a parent, never want to be a parent, maybe you're single, empty nester, married without kids, whatever stage, whatever age you are, I want to share with you today why the game plan matters. And the game plan, here's the deal about the game plan. It doesn't work the way it's designed or really the way it can unless this whole room right here understands what's at stake and what's happening back there. Because back in those rooms, something so significant is happening. Every single week. Arguably, the most important ministry is not happening in this room. No, it's happening back there. And I know you may walk by and those rooms may not seem too special, but that back there is sacred, holy ground. That is holy ground back there. And I know you walk by and you go, it doesn't sound holy. Because I just heard and saw a toddler clinging to their parent's leg who doesn't want to go, or I saw an elementary kid take their craft and make a paper airplane. Or I came to Boom and I realized once again that middle schoolers, they still don't have deodorant down. Not sure what it is. Or I go to high school night and while I'm telling them a giant concept about God, they're texting on their phone. And you go, man, I don't know if that back there sounds so holy, but I'm telling you guys what, on Sunday mornings and on Sunday evenings and on Thursday nights, it's not just a gathering of kids. No, that's a gathering of the very images of the creator of the universe, who has, his fingerprints all over them, who are made on purpose to do purposeful, lasting, beautiful, impactful things. It's a gathering of how we like to say it, world changers, really, world impactors. It's a gathering of the next generation of decision makers and leaders and thinkers and researchers. That's who's back there in those rooms. And we get the opportunity to gather them in the name of Jesus week in and week out. And we get to help them discover who God is at 514 Church. That's what we get to do. And so I know it doesn't smell holy. It doesn't look holy. It doesn't. But I'm telling you guys what, right back there, what happens back there, it's holy ground. And you should walk through those halls with anticipation and with your shoulders back and your head held high like there's someone special back there, because there is. It's the next generation. And here's the truth about the next generation. They get to shape our world. Check out this graphic. They get to shape our world. But for a moment in time, right now, we get the opportunity to shape their worlds. That's what's happening. They're going to shape our world. But right now, this room right here, this church, this community of local believers, we get to impact and shape their worlds. And not only do we get to impact them in a small way, but we get to impact them with the most important foundational piece of who they are. And that is what is at stake. This is very easy to forget, though, because kids are so messy. Can I get an amen? They are so messy. They start out messy, right? Like they come into the world and they're messy. I'll never forget my firstborn, Scarlett, she was 4 months old. And a wonderful woman, her name is Kim. She's a my husband's friend's mom, and she's a professional woman, and she said, I want to take you to lunch, and I want to meet Scarlett, and so she said, I'm going to take you to J. Lou's in Worthington, if anyone is familiar with that restaurant. It's very nice for lunch, okay, with a 4-month-old. And so I got Scarlett all dressed up, and I got dressed up, and we go to lunch with Kim, and Kim is beautiful in this black dress. She's coming on her lunch hour, and she says, I want to hold Scarlett, and I say, of course, and so I give her Scarlett, and you know where the story is going. Scarlett proceeds to poop all over Kim. It's one of those diapers moms and does. It goes like out the sides and up the back, and you're kind of like, how? How does my baby have poop in their hair? And Kim was trying to be so sweet, but she was covered in what looked like mustard, and it wasn't. It was the breastfed baby poop. You know what I mean. It's disgusting. And her dress was ruined, and I'm like, oh my gosh, kids are so messy. They make messes. My car mats right now, I try so hard to keep them clean. My 4-year-old, he just spilled Fruit Loops and milk in my car. They make messes. They don't clean up the messes either. That's a whole other message, though. I don't have time to get into that. And then finally, they get old and they start to ask big and messy questions. They start to have big emotions and hormones, and they wind up in actual messes, right? And so kids are messy, that's for sure. And at times, it's very easy to miss what's at stake. It's very easy to think of our little world changers and holy ground because they're so messy. And oftentimes, we get lost in it. Especially if you're a parent in here, I mean, bless your soul. You're knee deep in the chaos and the mess of children, aren't you? And you're trying to figure out how to raise these little humans to be all that they're supposed to be. You're trying to involve them, but don't over-involve them. Say the right things, but don't say all the things. And so it's this, mess of, am I doing this right? And then if you're anything like me, you lay your head down on your pillow and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, am I doing it right? And when the messes of life come and try to knock them down, did I do enough? And did I say enough? And did I prep them enough? And I have learned one thing, a main thing as a parent, is that, man, I need help. H-E-L-P. I need a game plan. And I need voices in my kids' lives who are saying the same thing that I am, but they're not my voice. And, kids, they're going to look to something to influence and build their lives. And we need to make sure that our kids have a foundation and something that when the pressures of life come and the storms roll in, that they're able to withstand what's gonna try to take them down. And today, I want this room to understand fully at a heart level that the foundation in Jesus Christ, that is the most important thing that we can develop. And back there on that holy ground, week in and week out, is what is being cultivated and formed. Right there. And the next generation of world changers, this room right here, we get to shape them. And we get to influence their worlds right now. Paul, in the book of Colossians, he says something, he's encouraging his followers. And when I talk about the next generation, I love to look at this verse right here, Colossians 2. It says this, and now, just as you accepted Christ Jesus as your Lord, you must continue to follow him. Let your, what's that word? Roots grow down into him. And let your, what? Lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth you were taught, and you will overflow with thankfulness. Roots. In order for something to grow, if you've ever grown anything, which I don't because I kill most plant things I grow, so I'm sticking with growing other things like kids, but in order for something to grow, it has to have good roots, right? Has to have a good foundation. If the roots are bad, there will be no limbs, and there will be no sprouts, and there will be no fruit. And right back there in those rooms is where the roots of faith are being planted and started and developed every week. So when you bring your child to church and you check them in there, roots are starting to form. When you lead a small group, when you stand and say good morning to someone, when you hold a toddler or a little baby, the roots of faith are starting to develop. And then what happens? Their lives will be built on him, the person of Jesus. The reality is our kids will build their lives on something. This room better care that it's built on someone. And that is the person of Jesus. So the roots grow, their faith will be built on him. And then what does it say? That their faith will grow strong in the truths that they were taught. We may never fully see the fruit of what's developed. You know, it's years and years sometimes. It's patience. And we may never see the fruit. But we can see the roots. And without the roots, there's no fruit. And so we get the unique opportunity to build the roots of the next generation. And then they learn things that will impact them forever, that make those roots grow even deeper into the ground, like how they are made in the image of God and what he thinks of them, and how loved they are by him, and how loved they are in this place. And they get to understand that they have the power to impact and change the world. I have a few unpopular opinions that I've experienced quite a bit of backlash for living in Columbus, Ohio. One of them is I didn't know how frowned upon it would be that I'm a Michigan fan, and I live in Columbus, Ohio. Go Blue. And I'm also married to an employee of The Ohio State University. That's tough, okay? I didn't know. But almost equally tough is I did not know that most of you, I'm making a generalization, so please don't be offended, but most of you in this room don't like country music. Yeah. And I guess what I'll say to you is I am deeply sorry, okay? Because there is wisdom in songs that are about fried chicken and football, right? And going to church. I don't know if your music talks about going to church, but my music does, okay? And I'm kidding, but not really. On the staff, most of them will barely tolerate if I say I would like to listen to a country song. But there is wisdom in country songs, and there is a song right now that's popular called Buy Dirt, okay? I did this through Run Through, and everyone was like, ha, what's that? I'm like, okay, you just wait. It's called Buy Dirt. And the storyline in Buy Dirt is not unlike many other country songs. You have this older man and this young man, and they're having this conversation, okay? And they're talking about basically how this young man he's searching for purpose and significance, and he's chasing a dollar. And the old man says to him, well, if you want to make your dollar count, guess what he says? Buy dirt. Here's what he says. Here's the chorus. He says, buy dirt. This is good advice. Find the one you can't live without. Get a ring and let your knee hit the ground. Do what you love, but call it work. And throw a little money, or a lot, in the plate at church. Send your prayers up and your roots down deep. Add a few limbs to your family tree. And watch their pencil marks and the grass in the yard all grow up. Because the truth about it is, it all goes by real quick. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy dirt. That preaches, doesn't it? That's a sermon, amen, I'm out. The whole idea of the song is that if you want a life that matters, oh, maybe it's right in front of you. It's right in front of us. And instead of chasing wealth or chasing an idea or chasing a concept of what we think might make our life count, what if we go instead and we buy dirt? Because just maybe the most significant thing we can be a part of as humans are the things that we have to dig a little dirt for. The things that we have to get messy for, and the things we have to water and watch grow and be patient over and toil, because maybe at the end of the day, caring about roots and really investing in that is what matters. And so you can't buy happiness, but you can buy dirt. So what if we as a church change our name and we're the dirt church? No, I'm kidding. But what if we become the dirt church? If we become a group of people who goes, oh man, we care a lot about dirt because we know what happens in dirt. Roots, that's where they start. Roots start in the dirt. And so we start to understand and we care about dirt because we see what's at stake if we don't. And what if we start to serve? Right? We start to sign up and we serve and we understand that we're not just holding a screaming baby, you're holding a little world changer. And you're not just leading a group of annoying 5th grade boys or teenage girls who won't listen to you, but you're leading a group of the future leaders. What if we decided to look past the mess? To not just walk past those rooms and go, ooh, looks like a messy day in there today. God bless those volunteers. What if we decided, though, to be the type of people and the type of church who says, you know what, I'm going to get, messy. I'm going to get dirty. I'm going to get my hands dirty because we believe that there might just be a miracle in the mess. We believe that we serve a God. And in fact, he takes messes and he turns them into miracles. And he takes ashes and he makes beauty come out of them. And he's a God of small beginnings. He's a God of mustard seed. And he's a God of faith like a child. Do we understand how badly that generation needs this generation right here to buy dirt? Because every child, this is just fact, and you know it if you're an adult in here, every child is gonna face hard times and trials, and they're gonna face anxiety and despair. In fact, in the mental health world right now, what they're seeing is a higher rate than ever of depression and anxiety and despair. And despair is kind of interesting because this is not a science lesson, so please don't quote me, but essentially our brain, we have two parts. We have a logical side, we have an emotional side. And despair occurs when our emotions become so overwhelming that we can't logically process them. They're finding, just so you know, tons of kids and students in this moment of despair. They can't make sense of all their emotions and they can't process them. And so what a student will say is, I feel numb. But really what's going on is there's a disconnect between the two. And you know what research, it's amazing. You know what they found is the greatest weapon against despair? It's you and me. They have found that healthy relational connections and secure attachments and people using the right tools in the right context over time, that what can happen, this is so fascinating, over time our brain can actually start to rewire. Isn't that incredible? And kids, that's what they're living in, a state of despair. They're finding that presence influences healing more than anything else. Dirt buying root growers who say, well, I'll go. I guess I'll get dirty. I'll invest in the mess because it might be the greatest mess we ever mess with. And so they start to show up, and we start to show up in the lives of the next generation. And we start to sit with them. And we start to tell them who they are. They're an image of God. They are an image of him. That he is in love with them. That they are valuable. That he is their father. And guess what else he is? He is their friend. He is their best friend. And we start to hold up a mirror next to them and say, this is how God sees you. Our kids and students, if we don't show them how God sees them, they will figure out a way to be seen. There are a million things trying to tell them how to see themselves. We get the opportunity to get messy and go really tell them how God sees them. I'm not doing something, by the way, that I haven't done myself. I decided, after a lot of prayer, to sign up and be a high school night senior small group leader. Yeah, it's scary. I've only had 2 and I'm scared and my jeans are, I guess, way too skinny, but I'm learning the baggier the better, okay? But you know what? I decided to show up and I'm going, and on Thursday nights I'm buying dirt and I'm investing in the mess. Because one thing that I am deeply, deeply passionate about is making sure that my daughters and young women know how God sees them. Yeah. They got a lot of messages telling them how to be seen. And I'm telling you, if they follow those, their roots are not gonna be what they need to be. But we right here, we get to invest in the mess. And you know, I have no time to do this. I'm being genuine. I really don't. You may think, well, that sounds nice, but I'm busy. Me too. I'm so busy, but I started to look at my time and go, what am I really busy with? Because this is the stuff that matters. I understand what's at stake back there. So I'm gonna buy dirt. And I'm gonna get a little dirt on my hands. And I'm gonna make sure that there's a generation of young girls who know how God sees them and how valuable they are in His image. I'm gonna look at this verse one more time. I'm closing down. I stand here today personally in just a very unique moment and season in the past 6 weeks, and then as recent as of, Monday, I lost both my grandfathers. And it has been a season of loss in my family, but also it's bittersweet. I'm 30-something, and I had a lot of great years with my grandpas. I certainly did. So it's bittersweet. But a season of loss as my mom's dad has passed away, my dad's dad has passed away. And then here I am today holding death, and then I'm watching life. I'm watching, these precious kids really commit to a new life in Jesus. And, as I look at this verse, and I was reading this verse and that last line that says, and I will, what does it say? Overflow with thankfulness. I stand here today and I overflow with thankfulness because there is a generation that went way before me, and they were root growers. They bought dirt. They were men who loved Jesus and cared so much about what they could put a fence around in their families, and they built into them and they developed them, and they had real fruit on their limbs. And today, personally, I get to see 4 generations later of new roots, new faith start to spring up. We may never understand the legacy, the generational legacy of what can take place when we buy dirt, when we invest in the next generation. And so right now, I'm gonna have our team, our band come up, and we're gonna sing a song together. And I wanna encourage every single person in this room to not miss the profound impact we have. What does it look like? It's giving. If you're a parent, you are front row. You have the most important role in the life of your child. Do not miss it. If you can serve and hold a door and serve a baby and lead a small group and get on stage and make kids laugh, oh, we need you always. We'll take you. We'll put you to work, and it's good work. And we're gonna sing a song that we did at worship night, if you were there, called God Really Loves Us. This song is incredible, by David Crowder Band. And my prayer with this song is that our students, after going through the game plan from the time they're born till the time they graduate, that they would understand the simple truth of this song, which is that God really loves us. That by the time they're 18, they would have built an authentic faith. I'm talking one that withstands pressures and storms. And they would understand the truth of this song, and their roots would be rooted in that God really loves them. That he is a father, and he is a friend, and he is with them in their deepest and darkest moments and valleys, yet at the same time, he offers hope because he died for them on a cross, and they have victory in him. It is claimed already. And that's my prayer. That's my prayer for our next generation. And then today, in just a moment, we're gonna get to pretty cool, symbolically get to see really the biggest mess of life, which is our sin and our darkness, symbolically be washed away in water. And these kids get an opportunity now to have eternity with Jesus, to live a life following him. It's a good day to buy some dirt.